What if I told you that a mistake rather than a pistol or cannon was the most lethal weapon of the Civil War? What if more soldiers were killed by unseen enemies, outmoded tactics, and bad leadership than by bullets? Every failure was paid for in human lives. The American Civil War turned into a laboratory of death. We reveal the lessons we learned the hard way, tonight lessons written in blood. Number 10. Friendly fire and chaos on the battlefield. There was a great deal of confusion, heavy smoke, and deafening noise on the Civil War battlefield. It was almost impossible to distinguish friend from enemy due to the blinding clouds created by black powder weaponry. Orders were misinterpreted or never delivered, uniforms frequently had the same appearance, and communication was delayed. Thousands of soldiers were unintentionally killed or injured by their own side as a result. Artillery shells landed short, nocturnal movements became catastrophic, and regiments shot mindlessly into smoke. A horrifying reality of warfare was exposed by this mayhem. Even the most well-trained army can turn against themselves. The Civil War showed us that bravery was only as important as command, communication, and identification, and that failure in any of these areas compounded deaths without the adversary having to do anything. Number 9. The war that created mass graves and national mourning. Before the Civil War, America had no system for handling death on such a massive scale. As bodies piled up faster than they could be buried, soldiers were often laid to rest in shallow, unmarked graves or not buried at all. Families waited months or years, never knowing where their loved ones had fallen. This unimaginable loss forced the creation of national cemeteries and transformed how a nation mourned its dead. Photography brought the horror home, showing civilians the true cost of war for the first time. The Civil War taught a haunting lesson: when death becomes industrial, grief becomes national. The war didn't just change how America fought, it changed how it remembered, mourned, and honored the fallen forever. Number 8. Outdated tactics in a new age of killing. The Civil War exposed a fatal mismatch between old military thinking and new technology. Generals trained in Napoleonic-era warfare ordered mass infantry charges across open fields, believing discipline and courage could overcome any obstacle. But the battlefield had changed. Rifled muskets, capable of killing accurately at hundreds of yards, cut down soldiers long before they reached enemy lines. Artillery shells exploded with devastating precision, and repeating firearms increased the speed of death. The result was horrifying slaughter. Battles like Fredericksburg and Pickett's charge at Gettysburg demonstrated how tradition, when paired with modern weapons, became a recipe for mass death. The war taught brutal lesson: warfare had entered an industrial age, and those who failed to adapt would pay in human lives. Number 7. War becomes industrial and relentless. For the first time in history, war was fueled by factories, railroads, and mass production. The Union's industrial power allowed it to manufacture weapons, uniforms, ammunition, and food on an unprecedented scale. Railways transported entire armies across vast distances, turning logistics into a decisive weapon. Meanwhile, the Confederacy struggled to match this output, slowly suffocating under shortages. But this industrial efficiency came at a terrible price. Soldiers became numbers on supply lists, and casualties were measured in tens of thousands. The Civil War revealed that industrial power could decide wars, but it also stripped combat of restraint, making death faster, larger, and more impersonal than ever before. Number 6. Disease, the deadliest enemy. Despite the violence of battle, most Civil War soldiers did not die from bullets or shells. They died from disease. Camps were overcrowded, sanitation was nearly non-existent, and medical knowledge was dangerously limited. Germ theory had not yet been accepted, so doctors reused unwashed instruments, spreading infection. Diseases like dysentery, typhoid fever, malaria, and smallpox swept through camps with terrifying speed. Entire regiments were rendered combat ineffective without ever seeing battle. Soldiers feared illness as much as enemy fire. This silent killer revealed one of war's most overlooked truths: an army's survival depends not just on weapons, but on health, hygiene, and medical science. Number 5. The horrors of Civil War medicine. When soldiers were wounded, survival was far from guaranteed. Battlefield medicine was crude and brutal. Anesthetics like chloroform were limited, and antibiotics did not exist. Amputation became the most common treatment for shattered limbs, often performed in unsanitary conditions. Piles of severed arms and legs outside field hospitals became a grim symbol of the war. Even those who survived surgery often died later from infection. The Civil War forced the rapid evolution of military medicine, introducing organized ambulance systems and nursing corps. Yet it also revealed a chilling lesson. Medical advancement often accelerates only after unimaginable human suffering. Number 4. Leadership genius and catastrophe. The Civil War demonstrated how leadership could mean the difference between survival and annihilation. Brilliant commanders like Ulysses S. Grant understood that victory required relentless pressure and coordination across multiple fronts. Others, such as George McClellan, hesitated, missing critical opportunities that prolonged the war and increased casualties. Poor decisions misjudged terrain, delayed orders, reckless assaults often resulted in thousands of deaths within hours. The war proved that leadership failures cost more than battles. They cost lives. Commanders carried the terrifying responsibility of deciding who would live and who would die with a single order. Number 3. Total war and civilian suffering. As the war dragged on, it expanded beyond battlefields and into civilian life. General William Tecumseh Sherman's March to the Sea marked a turning point, deliberately targeting Southern infrastructure, farms, railroads, and cities. The goal was not just military victory, but psychological collapse. Civilians watched their livelihoods destroyed, their homes burned, and their futures erased. The Civil War showed that modern war does not stop at army lines, it consumes entire societies. Civilians became unwilling participants, teaching a grim lesson the 20th century would later amplify. In total war, no one is truly innocent or untouched. Number 2. Psychological wounds and invisible scars. The trauma of the Civil War did not end when the guns fell silent. Soldiers returned home haunted by what they had seen and done. Though the term post-traumatic stress disorder did not exist, its symptoms were everywhere: nightmares, anxiety, emotional numbness, and violent outbursts. Many veterans struggled to reintegrate into civilian life, carrying invisible wounds that families and society did not understand. The war revealed that psychological damage can outlast physical injuries, leaving scars that persist for decades. It was a lesson humanity would ignore repeatedly in future conflicts. Number 1. A victory that did not heal. The Union emerged victorious. Slavery was abolished, and the nation remained intact, but peace did not bring closure. Reconstruction attempted to rebuild the South and redefine citizenship, yet deep resentment, racial violence, and political division endured. The war ended on paper, but its consequences shaped American society for generations. The Civil War taught a final, sobering lesson: winning a war does not guarantee justice, unity, or healing. Without reconciliation and accountability, the wounds of war remain open. The American Civil War was not merely a historical event, it was a warning. It revealed the terrifying power of modern warfare, the fragility of nations, and the human cost of division. Its deadly lessons echo through every major conflict that followed. Strategy, technology, leadership, medicine, and morality were all tested and often failed under the weight of unimaginable suffering. If you want to understand the wars of today, you must study the blood-soaked lessons of the past. Like, subscribe, and stay with us as we uncover the moments that shaped our world.